Hey guys!
Hey, I'm definitely keeping the salute.
Okay,
It feels more.
this is your thing now.
It's my thing.
Cool. I'm Nolly,
I'm Bo.
and welcome to another episode of Drinks on
You?
What has been your you moment this week?
You know what? A positive you was when we got to go for a run together. We haven't been able to do that in a very long time. Like more than a month, right?
I maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a nice moment.
Okay, yeah, it was nice. Sorry, I was now thinking of my run today, and I was like, yeah, no, that was my you moment.
Yeah.
My legs were like, no, no, no. They were so heavy.
But what does that the completion of the run? What does that mean?
See what you've done
Tell
there.
the folks at home.
Today's run meant that I got to finish my last of the 3 challenges for April, which was
For those of you who don't know, we're part of a running group, and the leader of the group, that's what I'm calling him, he sets us challenges each month to cover a certain
distance.
distance. I was like, amount of
Running.
yeah. A certain distance within the month.
Yeah, so the biggest distance challenge that I had signed up for was 110 kilometers.
Cumulatively, not just...
Yes, not in one go. You know what? You should really, really make that very explicit right from the onset. No, cumulatively. And I have 9 days to spare. 8.5 days to spare. But it has officially made me the top of the leaderboard, and I'm very impressed and chuffed by that. Which in total means that out of the 3 challenges that I had, so those were 35k, 75k, and 110k, I
Smashed
took
all of
third
them.
place in the 35k,
And
first place for the 75, and first place for 110.
Nice.
I don't know what the future holds from here.
And I have not even hit 60k yet, so that's how my month of running has gone.
But today we thought we would continue our conversation that we had started, or do a part
2
about the sex.
There you go.
What are you drinking today?
Yeah, we should
The
start with that.
darkest looking drink I've seen in a while.
I'm very excited. So today I am drinking a Trent Meadow English Trappist Ale. So what that means is it was made by monks. That's basically it. And it's a live product, which means it continues to ferment in the bottle. Doesn't mean there's things that are...
I was like, so there's bacteria?
Yeah, that's
yes, it's okay. Don't do that face.
No.
Can you show us the color of your
Oh,
drink,
yeah.
please?
I'm very excited. Trappist ales typically I'm gonna stop.
No, I'm laughing because every time you say that word,
Trappist.
yeah, it just reminds me of trapeze. I don't know.
So this whole time you think I've been saying trapeze?
No,
wrong.
I know you haven't. But every single time you say it, that's what
Trappist, trapeze.
that's what I think
Trapezist?
of.
What is a person who does trapeze called? A trapeze artist. Yeah.
Or a trappist.
Yeah, or a trappist. There we go. There we go. But yeah, it's usually made by monks. I thought it was just French monks, but I might be wrong.
I would.
Well, I'm clearly wrong because this was...
Oh, yes.
Because Tint Meadow is in the UK.
Great, cool. And I am having pink gin, my fave.
Is that 3 weeks in a row of pink drinks?
Why are you keeping...
And a pink top.
Why are you keeping count?
And what's your favorite color?
This is my little can for my pink gin.
Lovely.
Green Wells, no? Green Ols.
Green holes. Green holes.
Yeah, I don't know. And do you know what? We realized today that these little cans have kind of statements on them. So this one says, pink isn't a color. It's a state of mind. I was like, oh, okay. Wild berry, pink gin and tonic. But yeah, have you got your drink?
Are you drink?
Are you
ready?
Are you...
I think yeah.
Okay, cool. Eyes, eyes, eyes. Eyes, eyes, eyes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so excited. Oh yeah, I'm getting that again. Oh, that.
Oh yeah.
I really like that one. I really like that one.
Okay.
And it's not a stout; it's a dark ale.
It's very dark. It looks like a stout, so I'm very shocked. But for today, we thought we would answer some questions that were posed to us from part one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, before we go there, just want to say thank you to everybody who has been commenting in the comment section below. This is where we got our
and
questions from.
on Instagram.
And on Instagram. If you're not following us on Insta, the link is in the bio, as always. Except I haven't done it in the past 2 videos.
But
the link is in the description.
If you don't press more on the bio, it's at Drinks on You. So same spelling as our name.
Yeah, the end. So these are actually comments from a post on Instagram, but we also got questions in the comment section
On the channel.
which means there's going to be a part 3 of the sex.
Of the sex. So the first question is...
In case you guys don't know, I wear glasses, so
We
bear
both
with me.
do. When we squint, that's why.
Yeah. Okay, so questions for part 2. Shout out to the
It's
person
okay.
who sent us. Yeah, just in case she doesn't want to be.
Let's do each question as opposed to all reading them all out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So the first question is, how much sex should you be having as a married couple? So this is married centric, but you know everybody's allowed to interact and stuff. Don't feel left out. Just enjoy the bands. So babe, how much?
Do you know what? I recently have become very aware that I react negatively to the word should. Immediately. Like it's a thing for me. I'm like, there is no one. This should. It just all depends on
Unless it's
personal. It all depends on personal preferences, collaborative communication, and decisions that you make as a couple. And so I'm already like, can we just release ourselves from the should? Just.
Like that.
We are young. Yes, there is some expectation that we're going to be like rabbits, apparently.
Well, yeah. Actually, let me add to that question.
Oh.
How much sex did you think you were going to be having when you got married?
Did I even think? I mean, I
Like, did you have
definitely
any-
knew that I was not going to be having sex once a month. That was for sure. And if
Okay.
that were to happen, we would need to really work
Yeah.
hard.
I mean, because full disclosure, there was a period of time where it was kind of like that.
Was it?
Not for very long. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
maybe a month is long, but there were long pauses.
And I think that's the other thing. This become an awareness that we, as with any living organism, if I can even say that statement, we have peaks and
Troughs.
thank you. We oscillate. So sometimes, and that's my new word actually, oscillate. So sometimes, like we'll be hungry, just because
It's like,
we're at the top.
What time is bedtime? Man, she's still awake. Can we get away with putting her to
Stop
bed
it.
at 3:30?
AM? PM. I know what you mean. So there'll be, I think we just really need to release ourselves right from the onset that to have, to communicate, to like, communicate, like literally to communicate and to be aware that, to be aware of these oscillations. And actually, as long as you're communicating, it should hopefully set expectations at a reasonable level or whatever. So I think, yeah, let's just should. But yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know if I have a set numerical figure in my head of how many times we should be sexing.
It's like, babe, we haven't reached quota.
I know, right? And I just
It's almost the end of the week. You're behind.
So I don't know. Did you?
So growing up in general, from a very early age, I had a very high sex drive. So even as a kid, even though I didn't know what it was, I did know that I liked looking at boobies and wanting to touch them all the time. Are you sure?
It was a double whammy. I was like, looking at boobies and wanting to touch them from a young age.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation from another day.
Yeah.
But and in my naive teen years, Like when guys would talk about it, just like, yeah, man, I hope I marry
Lady in the street, but a freak in the bed.
stuff. Until I started having sex, and even more importantly, until I got married, where it's just like, yeah, it doesn't. I don't need it every single day. Having it every single day, it's great. But sometimes it's just like, actually just want to sleep. But because of lack of sexual education from because all the sexual education I got was from my peers who weren't having sex, so it's like, what? And most of them were getting it either from porn or from their older brothers who were having plenty of sex. But just because you're having lots of sex doesn't mean you're having good sex. I think we have found the balance of, because especially in a as a married couple, our commitment to each other goes beyond just the physical side of things.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the mood, or if I'm not in the mood, neither of us, we've had to learn not to take it personally, because we're in this as a whole marriage. We've got to learn and understand, and we've got to the point where we know each other well enough to be like, I'm really hungry today, but
For the sex.
but she's not in the mood. But that doesn't necessarily not mean that she's not attracted to me. She might just not be in the mood. And
actually sometimes, I was going to say it, actually sometimes, even though I'll talk about myself, even though I might say, yeah, I'm not feeling up to it today. If the opportunity presents itself, if I'm probed a certain way, who knows what might happen? I don't know. So yeah, it is really
It's
about knowing
communication.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, communication.
And I think I really liked what you said about what value you place on the sex.
Don't get us wrong, a great sex life is an important part of your marriage.
And exhausting if you do it right. It was literally what I was thinking. I was like, actually, if you're having good sex, you're gonna be tired.
Not necessarily.
Potentially.
Like 5 minutes of a really good sex is not as tiring
as a 10K run.
As a 10K run. Or 3 hours of just like, oh man, are you not done yet?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've heard stories. I've heard stories. Should we move on to question 2? Yeah, I hope that answers. So yeah, to answer the question, how much sex should you be having? As much sex as you guys agree on.
A succinct response.
Yep. Question numero 2. How do you navigate spontaneous sex with a kid? So this is an extremely specific question for an extremely specific set of circumstances.
I think the overall answer is we don't.
Though,
And I think this is due to living on a one level property. In my head, I'm like, okay, so if we were in a double story home or whatever, I feel like we may get away with it more, or we may be tempted to try, because we'd be like, okay, there's running on the stairs, so let's, there's things, there's steps that would lead to kind of
there's warning signs.
Okay, stop. Type of thing.
Just to clarify, this is not to say that we haven't successfully pulled it off.
I love that you needed to
Nolly's
mention
just
that.
talking about it because it almost sounds like we haven't pulled it off.
Oh no, I was going to backtrack.
Okay, cool.
So it was
Sorry.
an overall statement that it's hard but not impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
But not impossible. I think it's literally just thinking about
what he can do to distract her.
There you go. Or them.
Well, them or them. Yeah. For us, it's her because we have a daughter. Ping Fong.
I hate it.
It's a show our child discovered on Instagram.
Specific.
Cannot stand it, but they have hour-long playlists.
I love how you had to be specific.
So sometimes it's finding something that they will get stuck into. It works for us because she's a 4-year-old, so she really gets into the stuff that she watches. I'm trying to think when she was younger.
How young are you talking?
Like 2, 1, where she wasn't really... glued to the TV.
She was. I think her gluedness, glued. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, now she interacts with the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think it's just increased. I don't think she's never not been.
And it also depends on the kid as well, because Tando is super independent. She's very much her own woman.
Oh my gosh!
So
Excuse me.
I'll edit that out. Or will I?
You won't. I know you won't.
But she's very independent, so she actually relishes, or she flourishes in alone time. So if we put something on TV for her, she just has fun. And sometimes, because there are no locks on the doors in our house, sometimes...
0 locks, actually.
Yeah, except for the front door, obviously. And the toilet one. But yeah. Oh, there you go. Bathroom. If your bathroom's got a lock.
You are being specific.
Mommy and Daddy just having a shower.
We move on to the next question? This is hilarious.
Also, might I suggest getting a chest of drawers that has wheels on it? Because sometimes you have to get something behind, so it's easy to pull out. What were you thinking?
No, carry on. I'm laughing because you're literally being so specific.
And sometimes, while you're trying to get something from behind the chest of drawers, it ends up in front of your door. Oh. And then when your child does try and get in, they can't get in. Some things just work out for themselves. So, navigating sex with a kid around, spontaneous sexual encounters. Or just be very quiet.
Good luck.
Moving on. Okay.
This is the final one?
This is the final one.
Okay.
Ooh, and this might actually be an episode, maybe even a series of its own, but it's what's your take on pornography?
My immediate take is I don't like it because it sets unrealistic expectations. Yeah, that's how I've always thought of it, always seen it. But I can understand or can see why some people might use it. But for me, I just feel like it would set unrealistic expectations and or the exposure to it can then become something else.
Yeah. I mean, so my experience with porn, I started watching porn when I was 12. The usual story of older cousin had a tape, showed it to me and my cousin at the time. Like I said, I had a 6 drive from when I was really young, so that just introduced me to something like, oh, these things exist. And that led down quite a destructive rabbit hole. I think I was well adjusted enough not to expect my sexual partners to perform the way a porn actress would. But it was always in the back of my mind that I would like them to perform like the porn. And majority of porn is geared towards men, so the women tend to not be treated respectfully. They're usually just like objects. Even some of the sexual positions in porn are purely for visual enjoyment, but they are impractical in the bedroom. And so I know for me, it was, and this is something we talked about even before we got married, that I was, I would say I was addicted to porn. Like I would miss the bus and be late to work because I'm watching stuff in the morning. We've had this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember it, but sure. It's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, like, which obviously is not healthy. I mean, there's some people who can watch it and go on with their daily lives and stuff. But generally, I think porn is extremely destructive because it just, the representation of sex is quite flawed. And then there's the pushback of like, oh, but what if it's a loving couple who are doing it together?
You rarely find those.
I mean, there's a whole genre of couples who have OnlyFans together or have their porn sites together and stuff, which is, I mean,
it's their own, eh?
Do what you got to do. But even in that situation, your sex life will not mirror the sex life that is being portrayed. That even if they are making love on video, you're not going to be as you might not be as intimate as they. You might be even more intimate and have a better sex life, but you're getting input from. Sex is so intimate and so much based on the individuals in the relationship and the relationship itself. Even if it's a one night stand, there's still a relationship there. It may be tenuous, it may be like very flimsy, but no two sexual encounters are exactly the same. So like even if you have a great sex life, there's some nights where it'll be, oh yeah, that was good, it was great, and there'll be some nights where it's like mind blowing, and some nights where it just doesn't happen. But it's still the same people and it's still the same set of ingredients, but for some reason it's just not working. So I am very much against porn, just because of, like you said, the unrealistic. What did you say?
Expectations.
That's the word. Wow, this stuff is strong, y'all.
Wow.
The unrealistic expectations, the unfavorable representation of how men and women should be.
Okay.
I mean, like I know someone who ended up like having real problems with it, because it started off with normal porn, and that wasn't gratifying anymore, so they just went deeper and deeper, and it got to a point where like I actually need help, and then they ended up going to counseling. Not saying that's everybody's experience, not saying that everybody thinks that way, but even if that's not everybody's experience, do you really want to get into that? I know what. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say this, and then we'll wrap it up. I think I'm talking too much, but like one of the other things was it put a lot of pressure on me as a guy, because one, I'm not as big as most of these dudes in the penis department.
Okay.
Two, I'm not as big as them, like physically. I haven't had a six pack in almost 2 decades now. And three, I just don't have that stamina. Like, guys are doing a 45-minute scene. I'm like, I thought that's standard. That's how it has to be every time you have sex. If you have sex for less than 45 minutes, you're not doing it right. And so the first time that happened, that it wasn't 45 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm horrible at sex. I am.
Yeah, it just does a lot for a person's mental health and all of the expectations.
It ain't worth it.
No.
Personally, that's our opinion.
Definitely personal ideologies, thoughts, perceptions on it. What about you? What have you thought of this conversation? Have you answered some of these questions? If you feel comfortable, we'd love to hear them in the comments. Yeah. Do you have a different perspective on pornography?
Have we missed something?
Comment below. And on that note, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I thought I was the tipsy one.
I was like, comment. Comment. Until next time, bye.
I'm tipsy.